Good. All right. Huac and McCarthyism by Peyton Rose.
And Noah Calhoun. So what is McCarthyism? The word means to falsely accuse someone of something without evidence. It got its name from Senator Joseph McCarthy. In 1950, he accused over 200 people of being communists within the government. People believed him despite his lack of evidence. He did it to further his own career, but it made the accused people lose their jobs.
All right. What is Huac? Huac is it stands for the House Un-American Activity Committee, and was created in 1934 to investigate actions by private companies or people and investigate them if they were suspected of communist or Nazi ties. So basically, Huac investigated communist activities. And for example, in 1946, Huac investigated Hollywood, saying that the communists had established a political base and were using Hollywood to basically show communism in movies or ads or TV shows.
What was prioritized? The needs of society or individual rights? So Huac prioritized the needs of society over the rights of individuals. So they investigated people in ways that violated their rights, but it was done so that the people of America would feel like communism was being handled. And then McCarthy prioritized only the needs of himself. He accused innocent people just to move up in the political ranks, and he violated the rights of those accused people.
Alright, which civil liberties were violated? So, people McCarthy accused of communism were presumed guilty, so their 14th Amendment was violated. This is because they weren't considered innocent until proven guilty. They were straight away proven guilty, or thought to be guilty. And Huac interviewed people without a trial, asking them if they knew people who were communist, or if they were communist, or had communism beliefs. And there was no jury when Huac was interviewing these people, so the people's Sixth Amendment was violated.
Was the U.S. government justified in their actions? So Joseph McCarthy was not justified in his actions when he accused people of crimes that they didn't commit. He was, however, successful for a while, but people eventually figured out that he was just making things up. Huac was unjustified in their actions, especially against the Hollywood 10. So the Hollywood 10 were 10 entertainment people who were blacklisted and eventually sent to prison for defying Huac and their actions. And Huac was successful because they ended up in prison.
Right. What were the McCarthy versus Army hearings? So the hearings lasted 26 days for 8 hours per day, and they took place during the spring of 1954. McCarthy basically charged the U.S. Army with being soft on communism. When the hearings were over, no charges were pressed against the Army. And in December of 1954, the Senate voted to censor McCarthy for his conduct. And 3 years later, McCarthy died of being an alcoholic.
What impact did this have on how citizens viewed their government? So the whole McCarthyism scandal made the public doubt what the government was doing and their actions. Some people, like McCarthy, actually had the public trusting them more for a while, as they were all terrified of communism. The public became unsure of whether or not to trust their government, and some Americans even feared it.
Alright, so we do have a video to watch, or a video for you guys to see. Is it okay that we... Alright. I don't know if there's audio plugged yet. Yeah, so if there is an audio, well, I mean, I guess if there's no...
Well, there's subtitles.
Alright, play it and you can read. There's audio coming out of it.
Which he had found in these files, based to a possible enemy. It would be a relatively simple matter, would it not, for him to do that based on the way these files are handled? Will you answer the question, then we're going to go to it. Just answer the question. I'm not ready to answer one question.
So these are the Army McCarthy hearings.
Ask one question. I do want to raise that point before we leave this afternoon. Raise it briefly, then, because we have to get to Jared. I will raise it as briefly as I can, but may I say that Senator Samick has been here by innuendo trying to smear this staff of young men who have been working to dig out communists. He's talking about what might happen if there were a subversive on the staff. I would like to ask him now, even though he's not under oath, whether he has any information at all of any kind to justify this attempted smear against these 14 young men who've done such an excellent job uncovering communists. If he has no information, then he should be honest enough to tell us. If he has information, he should take the stand and take the oath as these young men have been taking it. Now may I ask you, Senator, do you have any information to indicate that there is anyone in my staff who is subversive, as you have indicated in your questioning? Senator Simon didn't answer your question, and we're going to have to recess the vote. I will answer that question this way, Senator McCarthy. In all the years that I have been in this government, based on the testimony that's been given before this committee under oath, I think the files of what you call my staff, my director, my chief of staff, have been the sloppiest and most dangerously handled files that I have ever known of since I've been in the government. All right, read that. Now you can run away if you like, Stu. You can run away if you like. You've been here trying to smear the staff of this committee. The young men who have been working to uncover communists, you jump up and run away without answering the question. I have asked you a simple question. Do you have any evidence of any kind to indicate that there's any subversive amongst these young men? If not, you are leaving here this afternoon, leaving a smear upon the name of each and every one of them. You shouldn't do that, Mr. Simonson. That's just dishonest. That's the thing.
Were you watching the whole thing, or?
No.
Apparently, every time anybody says anything against anybody working for Senator McCarthy, he is swearing them and he's accusing them of communism. Just answer the question. Do you know of any subversive? The best answer that I can give. Do you know of anyone who's
Right. That's it.
Questions?
Yeah.
Comments?
Questions? Jedediah?
What is being blacklisted?
So blacklisted.
Oh, it basically means, so in the entertainment business, it means you can't, like, if you like write the script or you direct, you can't do that anymore, or you can't act, or whatever it is that you do, you're not allowed to do it.
Anybody else? You? Matt?
So the video is a little hard to understand. So basically, that guy was saying that everybody who was standing against McCarthy, he was just accusing him of communism, and they were believing him.
Yeah, so basically, the guy who was at the end who was accusing this other guy of walking away, that was McCarthy. And McCarthy was basically the one who was talking for most of it. He was saying that, like, you can't accuse these people without evidence or anything. But, like, really, McCarthy was accusing people within the government of being communism, even though he didn't have evidence. And basically, in that hearing, those people were basically countering his claims. And
So they were challenging the legitimacy of Huac,
yeah.
right? And McCarthy was trying to counteract that with, like, asking a question,
Yeah.
deflecting. Interesting.
Basically.
So sorry, I mean, you guys get a little bit of an appreciation for, I think, the witch hunt that went on, right? And as that one other Senate member said, like, this is the sloppiest work I've ever seen.
Yeah,
Now, obviously,
'cause-
there's two sides to every story, but the fallout was what? Was it actually successful, or was there legitimacy in his
No.
claims?
McCarthy, their claims were false, but yeah, like at the beginning they were talking about how FBI files were being basically dangerously handled, like secret files weren't being kept secret,
Mhm.
and they were just handled sloppily. So,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
anybody else? No?
Good.
Okay.